Hello everyone, this is Kim Levinsky, finally back for another update for the Long Path 358 FKT attempt. I'm here with, the cat has already made her appearance here. She's trying to get her 5 seconds of fame, whatever that saying is. But man, I've done a really lousy job of keeping this vlog updated. So I apologize about that. It's been busy, but busy has been good. I've been working on getting ready for this long path effort along with several trail races for Sassquad trail running, all that good stuff. So it has been an incredible journey so far. I think that's like the resounding message of this whole thing and most of the projects that I've done in the past. It's been a lot of fun. And at this point, I've been able to see just about all of the sections from the Catskills south. So the start of Escarpment Trail to basically New York City. I haven't gone over the George Washington Bridge yet. Gonna wait for July to do that. So that leaves the first 100 miles of the long path, are the miles that I have not seen yet. I'm definitely itching to get up there in the next couple of weeks to check out a few of the sections. But yeah, so I've been able to see just about 250, 60 or so miles, and hoping to see a few more before July 8th when this whole thing gets rolling. So, part of the recon that's been so much fun is I've been able to do a lot of the sections with friends, and also have had really incredible support from friends who are helping with car drops, because that's what makes it a lot more efficient with these point-to-point efforts, is having a friend help by bringing you from the end where I would drop my car to the start, so then I can run hike back to my car instead of having to do an out and back where you're only getting to see half of the miles that you could have seen by doing a point to point. So it's just been so cool to have folks just reaching out and saying, hey, how can I help? Let me help with the shuttle. And that's been really helpful. And I think that's been a huge part of why I've been able to see so many of the miles. That and Uber. It's been nice, this southern section, like really, for the most part, everything below the Catskills, I've been able to get an Uber to do some point-to-points when I'm not able to have friends help with the shuttle. But I think, I said before that I'm most excited for the Catskills section, and I think that is staying true. It's definitely a mix of excitement and fear. Now that I've seen most of the miles, just about all the miles through the Catskills, there really isn't any easy part about it. I think I would say that the Escarpment Trail is probably the easiest, but that's insane to say that the Escarpment Trail is easy, because it's not. I think the Catskills definitely, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be a really special part of the whole long path. So I'm excited about that. It was fun to do some of these sections with friends, going out to the Catskills and just being able to share those miles with them. So another really cool part of the last few weeks is I was able to connect with two of the previous FKT holders. There are two guys who went out and did it on their own, so they didn't have any support, and they hold the record. It was a little over 8 days for that, and they reached out, and Dustin and Will, they reached out and said, hey, do you want to hop on a Zoom? We can chat, ask questions, any way that we can help, we would love to do it. So again, I mean, this is probably the third time I've been sharing this, is like the trail and ultra community is just so cool, and especially this little pocket of the community with FKTs, it's awesome. Like, they reached out, Dustin and Will, like, how can we help? And that was really valuable. It was super helpful to get on a Zoom with them and to chat. And, that's happening with plenty of other folks. I'm going to get on a Zoom this next week with a friend who's introduced me to a mutual friend who's like a guide in the Catskills. So we're going to be able to chit-chat about some more of the logistics of the trails up there. So it's just been really cool. I've been very cliche to say touched and overwhelmed by the people who are supporting, but that's truly how I feel. It's been a really special thing to experience that. So at this point, there's about, I'm looking at my list here, about 20 people confirmed who are going to be coming out over the course of the effort, which again is unbelievable. I mean, it's just, I love that part of these projects where there is the teamwork aspect of it, and just coordinating and figuring out the logistics of who's going where. That's been a lot of fun. There's still a bit of work left to do that. Trying to, as I mentioned before in previous vlogs, we're trying to do as much planning as we can ahead of time so that when we're out there and the brains are just getting fried, we're going to have this binder, this spreadsheet where it's going to have some info. Again, is it going to go exactly according to plan? No, it's not. And I got to let go of that, the type A thing. But to be proactive with the planning process, I think is going to be really valuable come July when we're out there trying to make decisions and keep the train moving, right? Keep the bus moving. That's what. So it's speaking of bus. So we were going back and forth on what the crew situation was going to look like, and after talking with some folks who have done these FKTs, weighing out options like, do we have an SUV? Do you like try to sleep on trail? Several cars? What are we going to do? Landed on renting a small, compact RV. So we're now, me and my friends are affectionately calling it the bus instead of the RV, but the bus is going to be the main crew vehicle that is going to be going from point A to B, each of the crew stops throughout the entire long path effort. So a couple reasons for this. I think it's going to provide a lot more flexibility with where I can stop at the end of each day. So instead of dumping out at a trailhead and then having to figure out, are we going to find a hotel? We're just going to sleep, like set up a tent. We're going to sleep in the dirt. The RV will be right there, and we should be able to just catch some sleep for the night and then get up and go immediately. So not having to find a place to sleep each night, I think is going to be, it's going to save some time and a lot of brain cells for all of us. So that's definitely a big factor in it. And then obviously the other thing is that we have a kitchen access in the bus. So it's Barbie size, it's scaled down, but there's stove, there's microwave, fridge, freezer, which is going to be really, really helpful throughout the entire long path for the crew to have access to that and to be able to make food instead of relying on just purchasing everything that's already pre-made. We can use the kitchen that's available in the bus for the duration of the long path. So all these things that seem to make sense, put it all together. Hopefully this is going to be a really cool thing, and it's going to be helpful throughout the effort for the long path. We could talk about the crew. So crew, like I mentioned before, there's about 20 folks who are coming out throughout the whole journey. And there's kind of like 3 categories of crew folks. So there's pacers who are obviously they're pacing. So I've got friends who are committed for each of the days, and most of them are going to be doing full days. So from 0 dark 30 to dark at night, hopefully 15, 16 plus hours on trail. They're going to be with me for that. And so those are the pacers. And then we've got support crew. So these are folks who they're kind of like the gophers, these friends who are coming out. So they're essentially, it's kind of like crew to the crew. So like they're supporting the bus. These are fun, these names that are coming up. So the support crew, these folks are going to have their own vehicle. And what they're going to be doing is they're kind of the gophers of like, we need a bag of ice or resupply with turkey, or doing the shuttles for the pacers, because again, this is a point to point. So anytime a pacer comes out to help on trail, they need to get back to their vehicle where they started. So the support crew folks are going to be helping with that, with driving the pacers back to their car or to their car, whatever. And then there's the bus crew. So the bus crew they're driving the bus, and that vehicle is going from each crew stop, so A to B to C to D each day. And the idea with that is that the bus is that's all they're doing. So they won't have to be driving this thing to a supermarket or whatever. That'll be the role of the support crew, is going to be using their vehicle, which is much smaller, easier to drive, obviously, from zipping around. So yeah, like I said, I'm counting 20 people who are involved in that. Many of them are coming out for multiple days, and that is, it's really cool. It gets me emotional to think about it. So no crying yet. No tears until the long path, and we'll really let it flow in July. So let me show you some information here on the back end. I'll share the screen so you can see the spreadsheet. There's been a lot of info that's been getting pumped into it. And then I also want to share the Google map that we have going as well. All right, so I'm over here in Gaia. I'm on my laptop, so this is Gaia.com. You can see the long path route is on here in red. So what I did was I exported the file. It was the extension of KML, and dropped it into Google Maps. And Google Maps will dump it right into the map. And then from here, we can use this tool on the left to add all different layers. So what I've started doing is pinning various categories. So we've got grocery stores, and then I started just north to south, zooming in, seeing what pops up. First grocery store is in East Burnham, I'm not sure how you say that. And then just listed all going from north to south. So Middleburg, Spring Glen, Wurtsboro, Middletown, all the way to the Palisades. So that's one of the layers on here is grocery stores. And then the next one is RV parks, because that is another fun little facet of having the RV, the bus that we're calling it, is that we will need to roll through a couple of these RV parks once or twice throughout the week to refill the water tank, to dump the toilet, probably refill the propane tank as well. So that is something that's really important, is to have these listed, all of our options ahead of time, so we can keep an eye and monitor, what levels each of those things are at, and then know when we need to stop at one of these campgrounds. And then I had listed on hotels before we land on the RV, but I'm just going to leave that layer just in case. The next big project that I need to start this week is dumping in all the crew access points. So I am going to start up here. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to have Gaia open in one tab, and I'm going to use that to see where can the crew access either a road intersection or a trailhead, and then I'm going to mark it on the map. So for instance, one of the first access points would be when the long path crosses over 157. Now this is only a few miles in to the long path, so I'm not going to do a crew stop there, but for the point of just showing it for an example, I would see, okay, 157, long path is crossing over there, so let's go into the Google map, and then we're going to go down, find 157 right here. Okay, that matches up, yes, and now I can click and drop a pin. Where's that little pin? There it is. So I drop a pin right here, and I could say crew access point number 1, and then maybe add some notes in there. This is at mile, I'd have to check in Gaia. Let's just call it mile 4. And when the long path crosses over 157, because I am a planner and love details, I would probably say something like there's a gravel pull-off with enough room for 2 vehicles, something like that. And that's another thing that's on my agenda is I am going to, before July 8th, I'm going to take my vehicle and start at John Thatcher and do like a dry run of what the potential crew route could be for the folks that are going to be supporting me, just so I can visually see it. I mean, these tools are great to see online, but I have I don't live that far away to John Thatcher. It's about 2.5 hour drive. So to me, that's well worth it to hike up there with my vehicle and just drive the route that I think the crew will end up going. So I can see, okay, well, what does this look like when the long path crosses over Beaver Dam Road? Like, can I meet my crew there? Whatnot. Same thing for the Catskills. That's going to be really, really valuable. That's probably top priority, is to do a dry run through the Catskills. I've been driving through there doing recon, but to do an actual dry run of where we think crew is going to be able to access and really take some detailed notes on, like, can the bus fit there, or will support crew need to drive there, etc. So that's the next big layer, is adding all those crew access points to this Google map. And then crew is going to have, we got a friend who's going to loan us very generously a hotspot to have in the bus. So this is something where they can have a laptop, be able to pull this up. So, it's just easier to see instead of trying to Google map everything from your phone, to able to have a laptop going with a bigger screen and be able to see exactly where all these access points are, where the grocery stores are, the campgrounds. And I'm going to have a live tracker that the crew will have access to. I don't think it's going to be shared publicly, but crew will have access to that. So they're going to be able to see in real time where I'm at with live tracking, and they can bounce back and forth with seeing, okay, like Kim's on the tracker, she's 5 miles out from Phoenicia. So, that's the next big crew stop. Definitely going to hit up Brio's Pizza when we go through Phoenicia. And they'll be able to see my dot moving along the live tracker, and then use these mapping tools to figure out where's the best spot to meet, and we could be in communication. But that's kind of an overview of this stuff. You could tell I'm like geeked out on it. This is a lot of fun to me to be doing this. I really enjoy it, just to be doing all this planning. And it's helpful. So, I'm meeting with crew now. We're doing Zooms, sharing screens, talking all these things out. It's been very fun, very, very helpful. All right, so I think that I should wrap it up here. We're already at like 17, 18 minutes. This is becoming way too long of a vlog episode. Thanks for hanging in and watching. I do want to finish up by saying a huge thank you to everyone who has donated so far to the fundraisers that I'm doing. I've been raising funds for 2 really phenomenal nonprofit organizations. Bigger Than the Trail, which raises funds to provide 3 months of cost-free therapy for anyone who needs it. So far, it's been several $1,000s that have been raised since the beginning of May, which is really, really incredible. It's been about $3,000 that's been raised so far for Bigger Than the Trail. And then the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, they are the amazing nonprofit organization that is volunteer driven, and they maintain all of the trails for the long path, all 358 miles of the long path, in addition to the 2,000 plus miles of trails in New York and New Jersey. So very, very happy to be raising funds for them, knowing it's going right back into these trails that we're going to be enjoying in July. So both of those fundraising links are in the description here for this YouTube, and I appreciate everyone who's been so generous with donating so far. So thank you again for tuning in. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next update.